You've been driving for a while and you feel like you've hit a plateau and you're just not improving anymore. You've upgraded your hardware, but you're still not able to be as fast as you would like. Well, guess what? I did that too, okay? I'm as guilty as you are. And that's exactly why Racine and myself created what we call the advanced way to learn. By using the techniques that we're about to show you, we were able to win national championships, and we're now coaching real-life drivers and sim racers all across the globe. So let me tell you why you absolutely need this to improve your racing skills. On this platform, you'll go through 5 learning steps. The first one is going to be to watch video lessons so you can take in all that theory. The second step will be to answer quizzes. We've created some questions to test your knowledge. Next, you'll have to partake in challenges. Here, you'll have to prove to yourself that you can apply what you've learned. You'll go on track and you'll try to beat the instructor's lap times or sector times. Following the challenge, you'll be able to send your onboard replay so instructors and other community members can help you improve. And lastly, you can get involved in the community to meet some new teammates and learn from others. This platform is a back and forth discussion between us, the instructor, and you, the students. If you're serious about becoming the best driver out there, this is the advanced way to learn.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Las Vegas. It's the PRL Cup Series back once more for round number 5 of our 9-round season. Just a couple more 1.5 style racetracks to go from here at Vegas and from Homestead Miami Speedway in 1 week's time as well. I'm very much looking forward to some intermediate track racing again here in the PRL. It's myself, Ian Leary, and Lorenzo Bonda along with you for this round of the championship once again. And off the back of last week, Lorenzo, and the week before, indeed, we've not seen a caution for for 2 weeks now. It was the end of September the last time we had a yellow flag at the early part of Kansas Motor Speedway. That's 2 hours, 45 minutes of green flag racing. Wonder how far we'll get into this race before we're interrupted for the first time in weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. It's insane that we haven't gone this long without a yellow flag and we go into Las Vegas. It's going to be quite interesting to see how Vegas will play out. Usually it's a tire track, very easy for you to overcook the tires, especially the right front actually. So, and the draft is going to be making this kind of like a pack race. It looks like a 1.5 miles that would be spaced out, but this kind of can drive like a pack race like no other track in NASCAR.
Let's have a look at the championship standings so far. James O'Brien still leading the championship despite the fact he's not won a race yet. Gabriel Perry's won 2. He's in second, and Rob Bissau Jr. And the other race winner this season, or one of the others, Unai Yamaz. It is Mathieu Denis in the 5th position, just 1 point ahead of Mark Kalin. Jose Medina and Mike Richter are tied for 7th with Stephen Kirby and Scotty Johnson, who's making his 100th PRL Cup Series appearance tonight, in 10th place. The current margin in the Cup Series team standings is a 55-point advantage for private label Team Hype. Solpec are in that 2nd place, just ahead of DDI Motorsport by 32 points. Quarterback Racing and Necky Racing Team are 3 points apart in 4th and 5th. Before we go any further, thank the sponsors who make these broadcasts possible, starting with Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminium profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. RaceBox offers mid and high-end book boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, our button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit raceboxsimracing.com and get a 5% discount using the Precision 5 coupon code. Bookgiga products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit moradness.com. Mr. Head's iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest or simply worst moments in your hobby in up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim room. And finally, Advanced Motorsports. Get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on their socials to become a better driver. Well, we have been here on many an occasion in the PRL Cup Series. This is the 9th time we are racing around here, and we've had 6 different drivers on pole. Richard Reagan Jr. and Abner Acosta of the entrants from this season will have a chance to repeat that tonight, although in the absence of Richard Reagan Jr., it looks like he won't be doing that. Instead, it will be up to Abner Acosta to try and take a 2nd pole in a row if he can, but at the moment he's not set a time with just under 2 minutes remaining. Gabriel Perry has just gone to the top, and what a season he's having, with the exception, 2 exceptions, rather large exceptions I suppose, of Watkins Glen and Talladega. He's had a wonderful season so far as Gabriel Perry, and 2 race wins certainly shows that. He's up to 2nd in the standings, and starting on pole here would be a great start for him here at Las Vegas as well.
Oh, absolutely. If there's one thing about Las Vegas that can help you out, especially in the early portions, in my opinion, would be a clean run, like a clean air run. But like I come back to my previous comment, of being a pack race of sorts, because you can use the apron, something that Indy cars back when the DW12 used to run, they could not use it because of the speeds and of course the grip difference. In here, the NASCARs do use it, and they use it and abuse it. So we've seen that in qualifying already with a few drivers like James O'Brien, Gabriel Perry, and so many others. So this will become a feature, as we're going to see plenty of times in this race.
And this is Warden making his way up towards the line in the number 84. And crossing the line, will he improve? No, doesn't look like it. He'll just continue going around and around, I think, in the Ford. A couple of drivers who haven't qualified for this session, Jeff Chandler and Abner Acosta, both deciding to start from the back row together. So that will be one to watch, especially Acosta, of course, who we know is such a great driver. Heard from So somebody told us last week that the recent storms in America came through Abner Acosta's area, and it was without power last week, so that's why he was away, and that's why he's out of the top 10 in the standings, by the way. He's 12th, although there will be a drop round added there, of course. And Jean-Michel Gagnon as well, also missing last week's race. He may well climb through the order once the drop week is applied, and you may be wondering when that will be. It will be after this round. So for round 6, we will be able to give you a maybe better idea as to where everybody is in the points standings. That is the end of qualifying, and it's Gabriel Perry who takes another pole position. James O'Brien will be alongside with Unai Yamas and Pat Harvey, making his 8th start here at Vegas in the Cup Series from 4th place. Patrick Calgo and Scotty Johnson will be sharing row 3. Rob Bissell Jr. and Waldo Warden will be next. It's Stephen Kirby and Chad Kibbe rounding out the top 10, with Jose Medina 11th, and Jean-Michel Gagnon, the best place of the drivers who've missed a round so far. He is starting from 12th. Stacey Hunter and Lou Christian will be on row 7, ahead of Colton Easterday and Alex Hillman. Mutchidini and Mark Kalin are the final drivers who set times, and then Abner Acosta and Jeff Chandler will be at the back. As I mentioned, the statistic about us not having cautions so far in these last few weeks, Lorenzo, is quite a remarkable one. The only caution at Kansas came out very early on in the day, and at Talladega and the Charlotte Roval, we saw an hour go by without a caution. We're at 2 hours 45 as things stand, and there has been a race around here at Las Vegas back in March of 2023, the spring race last year, in which we went green the whole way as well. So I wonder whether we could surely set some kind of record with another caution-free race. We'll see if we can get it.
Yeah, let's hope that happens, because I think it makes the race in Vegas very dynamic. And one of the interesting things about Vegas is not only you have to manage the tires a little bit, but you can, oddly for a 1.5 mile, you can go long with the gas. As we look into Pat Harvey as he's up for his light blue greenish cup right there, sipping on a little bit of water, or I don't know what he'll be drinking, but let's hope it's water. Yeah. And getting ready to race.
Absolutely, some nutritious water. I think the defending race winner, by the way, here at Las Vegas is Pat Harvey. He'll be doing it from the 4th position. Pace car about to roll off, and there we go for the pace lap. Just saw the conditions come up there a moment ago. 90 Fahrenheit as things stand. That's in the 30s Celsius, if you are wondering, on this side of the pond. So not scorching, but we are in a fairly warm part of the world, even in October. So you don't know what the tyres are going to do here. Are we going to see, if we do see one of those green races, are we going to see drivers coming in after 20 minutes to make a 2-stop race, or 30 minutes to make a 1-stop race? Because it was pit strategy, of course, that was so important in the real-life NASCAR Cup Series only a few hours ago.
Yeah, because the early grip that you're gonna get in the early grip, you're gonna get lots of really good laps. It kind of makes up the ground if you try to overstretch the gap. You can be consistent in it, but sometimes it's not really good about it. So let's take a really close look how this race will develop. I would say in the first 10-15 minutes of this race, if we go green all the way, of course.
Big if. Average number of cautions around here is 2.6. So it's not likely, but it has happened before, so just thought I'd point it out at the beginning of the day. Well, it's time then for the 203rd race in the PRL Cup Series history, and it's here at Las Vegas. Of course, added a second race to its calendar, a fall race to its calendar back 6 years ago now. We go racing twice a year around this 1.5 miles. It's time to do it for the second time this season, or this year I should say, in the PRL Cup Series as well. 20 drivers making their way up towards the line. The green flag waves. We're underway in Vegas.
Horrible start for O'Brien right there.
Yeah, already down to 3rd place, and side by side for 3rd place as well, with Patrick Calgo caught napping really. Well, he gets back to 3rd at least, and Unai Yamas will take that 2nd place gladly indeed. Side by side for 6th place is Rob Bissell Jr. and Stephen Kirby going to battle into turn 1.
Yeah, so this is going to be, like I said before, the pack racing aspect of this track. It doesn't feel like it that you're driving in a pack race of sorts, but because everybody has the same amount of grip in these first laps that you're going to do around your stint, it can get packy. The lines are going to shift in shape as you go along the run, and that wall outside of number 4 is going to become a threat, a menace to a lot of the drivers if they go a long stint in their green flag runs.
Patrick Cowgill looking to get through here on James O'Brien, who's also looking at the 63 of Yamas at the moment. Top 4 running away from the rest. As you say, it's a big pack back from 5th place on backwards. Cowgill here goes round the outside, up into 3 and 4. We did see a little bit earlier on them really searching for some grip up high. You can go quite high here at Vegas, close towards the wall. And Cowgill, the first one to really make that jump in the top 4 to try and gain some positions here on the outside line.
Excuse me. You gotta use a little bit more of the rubber on your right-hand side tires, but he manages out because the banking around Las Vegas is quite considerable. It's next to 20 degrees, so you can kind of use that to your advantage. And it's progressive as the bankings are going to get basically shallower as in the backstretch in the front porch. So it's going to be quite interesting for that highlight to be used, as Cowgill probably not satisfied with something in his run.
Let's see. Oh, well, he's up to 3rd at least. He's making progress, so I don't know what there's to be happy about. Here he goes. Right, we're already right up next to the wall. Look at this. Right on the outside of Unai Yamas through turns 3 and 4. And the 31 is going to be up to 2nd place. But as you say, surely Cowgill's shredding his tyres by running up high so aggressively like that. There's the 2nd pack in the background just coming into shot. Pat Harvey leading the line there.
And Acosta trying to make moves, but is stuck on that big pile of cars right in front of him.
Yeah. Saw him 3 wide early on the race. There's Mark Kalin. He's made up some progress, so it can be done. Abner Acosta, of course, started 1 position behind Mark Kalin here. And see, Kalin's already battling for 12th place here. Quite a few places ahead of Abner Acosta. Wonder whether Acosta's riding around at the back and saving tyres for the moment, but I'm not really sure, to be honest. Jean-Michel Gagnon, side by side, just up ahead here with Robert Bissor Jr. as well. This is a much livelier group than the front 4, it must be said. As meanwhile, Patrick Cowgill challenges Gabriel Perry for the lead. Into 3 and 4 they go. Patrick Cowgill again looking on the outside, but he's finding this a little bit more difficult. Perry wants to lead some laps here out front. Of course, we don't have any markers as to what he's done at Vegas before because he's never been in this series before. Gabriel Perry has made a real splash in his first PRL Cup Series season.
Yeah, basically a impact rookie of sorts. I think a lot of teams will be looking for to try to get him maybe next season and onwards. And already with 2 wins on his back, already the winner at the Roval as Cowgill goes into the lead.
Certainly does. It's only his 3rd start here at Vegas. He's never finished in the top 3 before. And at the moment, he is leading lap in the PRL Cup Series again. Leading his 1st lap here at Vegas. That was the 1st, just as he went over the line. Meanwhile, side by side between Chad Kibbe and Jose Medina just behind. This is for 8th place. And that's the 24 moving up ahead of Kibbe. Then Luke Christian just in behind as well to round out the top 10. But the more these guys fight, and well, it is too late, but the more that they will see that front 4 continue to ride away because of the pack racing that we're seeing here at Vegas, or well, not. I hesitate to say pack racing, but you understand what I mean. It is more slipstream heavy around certainly for an intermediate circuit. This is this is quite packed racing. I hesitate even more because, of course, we've got Atlanta at the final race of the season. It's not even 2.5 mile circuits that are reserved for packed racing now, so I hesitate to use that word, but you get the point. This is a second group here from 5th place on backwards.
Yeah, like I said before, this tri-oval is, like I said, goes around 20 degrees banking, kind of progressive on the back stretch and the front stretch, which are about 9 degrees. And the way this race shape shifts, actually, it's packy at the start, can break away down to the middle, and you're going to see smaller packs being formed, and maybe in the mid-ladder portions of your fuel and tire stint. But like I said before, this back when Indy cars used to run prior to Dan Walden's death was basically pack racing and absurd, I'm not going to say monstrosity, but chaos with the DW12s and their high speeds around these bankings.
Yeah, certainly. It's a method of racing that IndyCar has rather gone away from in recent years, in the last 10 years. But NASCAR is very much encouraged. Of course, we've got 3 plate tracks now. With the addition of Atlanta Motor Speedway, we will be going there on the 17th of November to end our season here in the PRL Cup Series. So that's going to be a very interesting one indeed. If indeed the championship is still on the line at that final round, goodness me, it's going to be an intense one. As we look at this battle for 12th place. Jean-Michel Gagnon has just gotten past Alex Hillman to get into this position here. And Gagnon, another driver who's doing very well at the moment in a what I believe is a debut season. He's certainly debuting at this circuit here today.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Atlanta, just real quick, come back to the final round of the season, it's kind of interesting to think that now is a blade track, but back in the old days, the style of racing and the rawness of the cars, right? Because they didn't have these electronics and electronic advancements. Now the current gen does. It made the track feel like plate racing, even though it wasn't, right? So it's interesting they actually made it plate track this time. Oh,
that was a huge slide for Alex Hillman. Can he hold on? Oh, through the grass, still sliding, still going, still fighting. He locks it up through the grass. He's going to get a penalty for going on pit lane, I suppose. But anyway, that's the least of his worries. He hangs on. We stay green with just under 9 minutes. 9 minutes gone in this race.
Nice save.
Well, it's the first of the day. Wonder how many of those kind of moments we're going to get throughout today, because, as you said, off turn 4 is that real pinch point, and the one we'll be looking at today. This is on board. You could just see the car ahead of him sliding, and look at how many corrections he has to make here. I mean, I'm already at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. That half spin looks like my crash, my second crash on my second race in the Petit Le Mans. I'm not going to get into this argument though, but Vegas can run like that on the 3 and 4 corner, right? Section of corners. That low line drives a little bit similarly to what Michigan kind of does. Good entry, but you need throttle control and car control to retain the car on track, because the banking comes so swiftly outside of the corner that the car might not be ready to handle the banking transition, and thus the rears spin quite a lot on its rear axle.
This is the second group again. Chad Kirby just in behind Jose Medina. Of course, these two just reversed their positions. Medina got ahead of Kirby. And the 23 looking for that position back again. Oh, slide for Medina this time off of 4. He goes down on the apron. Kirby stays well away from him, just in case he's still sliding. Meanwhile, bottom of your screen, Gabriel Perry down on the low line. and he retakes the lead of this race.
And more importantly, he does while being away from Lamas and O'Brien, as O'Brien now on the outside from what it looks like against Lamas. No, inside.
Yep. O'Brien looking to... I wonder whether O'Brien has been a bit conservative early on here, and
yes.
Now he's starting to just use some of these tyres.
Has to be. Like I said before, this is a tire track. If you punish your tires early in the stint, it's going to be quite hard for you to circumvent the 3 and 4 section. 1 and 2, you can do that without too much of a hassle, but 3 and 4 is where the problem lies, because the banking comes up much quicker and much swiftly than going around the backstretch.
So that's O'Brien moving up into the top 3. He has won here in the past, don't forget, as James O'Brien, one of a couple of active drivers to do so. He's also got the most laps led of any active driver, as James O'Brien. By active driver, I mean drivers entered to this season. Side by side for 5th place. Pat Harvey coming under a bit of pressure. The winner last time we came here to Vegas earlier on this year, this calendar year. Stephen Curley challenging him for 5th position, as is Walter Warden, and Chuck Kibbe's really coming now as well. He's to the inside for 7th place and through.
Yeah, easily. Walden, I think, just kind of allowed the number 33 through, even though the 23 had a little bit of a wiggle coming out of number 2 right there. And I think Easterday as well had a little bit of a wiggle coming out of number 2. So maybe finally the tires are, pushed early on, starting to give in a little bit, but still, there's still plenty amount of grip for you to use on this mid-section of your stint. This is still not a second half, I would say, but you're clinging close to that second half.
Well, it depends really. Again, circling back to that point earlier on about how many stops you want to make during an hour here. If you're going for a 2-stop strategy, which I suspect some of these guys might try, then you would be in the second half of your first stint.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying like the full green flag non-stop run, of course.
Yeah, I think these cars are going to be able to do 1 stop, aren't they, on fuel and tyres, because in half an hour they can probably do just under 60 laps. That should be fine on fuel and tyres, but it's a case of whether it's quicker to do 2 stops staying green here. Don't know the answer to that, to be honest, at the moment, and we'll see if anybody does try it.
Yeah.
As meanwhile, James O'Brien gets to the inside of Patrick Cowgill. He certainly has been holding back early on, and now he's pushing on. Interesting that Gabriel Perry is pushing on a bit more now as well, who was happy to let 31 of Patrick Cowgill lead, but not for too long. Now Perry's in the lead and has a 1-second advantage as well.
Yeah, and from what it looks like, I want to say that Cowgill's car is starting to look a little bit looser than usual, but I could be wrong.
It could be. Abner Acosta also has been moving through the field, by the way. This is the battle for 5th place. He won't be too far away from this now, Will Acosta. He's a bit further down the field for the moment, but this is for 5th place. Stephen Kirby on the outside line, and Pat Harvey now into 1 and 2. Jack Kibbe and Warden just behind as well.
And impressive what Kibbe is doing, right? This probably is Kibbe's best race, I would say, since Kansas or maybe Talladega, I would say.
Chad Kibbe has not been at a race since Kansas, that'll be why. He's been absent for the last couple of weeks, but good to have him back.
I forget.
Yeah, I know. I
forget. I think I wasn't in Kansas, so
finished in Kansas. His best finish of the season is only top 10, 9th place at that mile and a half. And at the moment, he's doing better than that, even challenging for the top 5 in this second group.
And the car doesn't look loose. That's the most important thing.
As we tick over 15 minutes gone, we have officially had 3 hours of uninterrupted PRL Cup Series racing since the end of September, the last time we had a caution. Remarkable run, and respect to all of these drivers for taking, first of all, Talladega full green, taking most of Kansas full green. The Roval, of course, expected to be green, but a good start here as well.
Yeah, let's keep knocking on the wood about that.
Yeah, of course, we have seen 7 cautions around here in the past at most. We're not going to have time for all of those, but that's what can happen around this venue. So, 44 minutes to go. Are some of these drivers thinking already about pit stops in about 5 minutes' time here? It's going to be very interesting to see, because as you commented before, I mean, some drivers are notably struggling. Some drivers are really starting to push on. And look at Abner Acosta down low with a 3-wide moment.
And Harvey, I think, got into that high line a little bit, and Walden maybe have lifted off just to allow Harvey to go through, just trying to have a little bit of awareness. But like I said before, expect that number 5 making moves like we normally would see coming from all the way in the back, and be strong, as the maintenance of the tires are going to be important in this race, like I said many times.
Yeah, of course, Acosta will get loads closer to James O'Brien once the drop week is applied. He would be in the wall. Chad Kibbe. Chad Kibbe's in the wall. We were complimenting earlier for his run. Unfortunately, Chad Kibbe has found the wall off the 4. Unsure quite how.
Oh, he got loose out of 4, that's why.
Okay. Well, that'll be a green flag stop for him, I'm afraid. Not only for strategy, but for damage.
Yeah, 100%. Already loose on 3. Flips the apron, flips the wall.
It feels like in these cars, once they start going, you can try and delay the accident, but you can't really stop it.
No, they're both, so at best you can try to keep it as straight as possible, but once it goes, it goes.
Stephen Kirby going for 4th and towards 3 and 4. Maybe a ploy to get away from Abner Acosta, but that is a bit of a full-on hope at the moment. Yamas very loose out of 4 as well, as these guys make their way over the line again. Kirby should get the place down low at 1 and 2, and maybe the 63 starting to suffer from going quickly out the gate initially as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can even see now Acosta trying to push a little bit high, trying to stay within the same line as the 63 is. Finding room, finding places for him to go through. Now Acosta is going to go up 1 spot, maybe 2, as he sets him up on the next section of the tri-oval.
He gets past Kirby. And what about Yamas? Can you get him into 1? He ducks down low. And you think he'll have him, but it's going to be pretty tricky as the group behind catches them. This is the problem with battling around Vegas as well in some ways. A single file group behind you will certainly catch a group running side by side like this. Oh, Kirby loose off of 4. He saves it this time in the 109. Oh, goodness. He's still pointing the right way, and that's a miracle in itself.
And now Easter, I think, having some other issues too. So finally the car's starting to get really loose, and now all the caution is going to be necessary for you to stay strong and still survive in this field.
Yep.
Kalen as well loose.
Yeah, Kalen's been making some good progress actually in the last few minutes. No, he's looking a bit ragged there, but top 10 now for him. He started 18th, just ahead of Abner Acosta, don't forget.
Yeah, I think them starting in the back is just, their mindset was just like, don't push at the start, remain in your position, just analyze how the race will progress, and when the right time comes, especially the second half of your stint, this is where you actually strike.
Side by side between Harvey and Yamas. Yeah, oh no, Yamas is really dropping through the field, I'm afraid. On the drop week corrected points, he is 20 behind James O'Brien as things stand. Yamas, that will put him a little bit further down. Whatever happens tonight, I think Yamas will be a little bit further down the championship standings than what we showed you at the start of the day, just because of the way that the points work. Just looking there, Joris Gagnon would only be 7 back as things stand. Abner Acosta would only be 13 behind if drop weeks were to be applied right now. Gabriel Perry would be 3 behind. James O'Brien. So O'Brien would still be leading, whether it's overall points or whether it's drop week corrected. However, it doesn't necessarily benefit him adding the drop weeks, which of course they will be at the end of today's race. This is still the battle for 5th place, and look at that 3 wide off in the background. Walden and Harvey side by side, just ahead of Mark Kalin and Robert Bisor Jr., with Stephen Kirby as well, the last man inside the top 10.
And good battle between everybody, and Kalin trying to find the way in the middle, don't get caught himself within the arrow push of Walden right in front of him. Meanwhile, Harvey dropping places like a rock. Good start, but the end of his stint not so optimal for that number 67.
Out of 4 for Harvey there, just sliding up in front of Robert Bisor Jr., I think. But Bisor Jr. in the 3 comes straight back down the inside of him and through on the inside. We've passed the 40-minute to go mark, by the way. It looks like everybody's going to just split this race in half.
Yeah, and which car is that in front of him? Is that Bisor that got a little bit loose accelerating? Yeah, he was.
He's Walden and Yamas again for 5th place. And Yamas, I'm afraid, is still dropping through the field here, and loose again off of 4. He saves it, doesn't get too ragged. Here goes Mark Kalin. Not going to make it 3 wide. He's just going to stay in behind here. In towards 1 and 2, just up ahead. You can see Abner Acosta getting up on the inside of Patrick Cargill for 3rd as well.
And expected to see Calgo drop as a rock as well, pushing those tires early on, and those who started more conservative making moves. So we expected like guys like Calgo, Kalin, Bisor was actually kind of quiet, so starting to make moves as well as to cling up and climb up in the field and be in more race contentious positions.
Walden did not hold the low line there at all. One thing we haven't seen very much of so far is people getting tight, and that was the 84 that time round. Bit of a squeeze for Bisor Jr. to get ahead of Kalin, who then has to slow down, and he's loose. Loose into 3. Oh, can't gather it up. He's okay. But that was a close moment in this fight for 5th position. Still ongoing, and the 63 still hanging on for now.
Dare I say, I think that half slide from the number 62 from of Kalin, I think is gonna detriment to his tires.
Oh,
push past. Oh,
Bisor Jr. and Walden there, side to side contact.
This is getting dangerous.
Oh, Walden really loose. He uses the apron, and we're still green somehow. Robert Bisor Jr. also really loose off of 4 there. And he's in the grass, the 3 in the grass, and spinning in the grass as well. He saved it, does he? He locks it up, spins it on the apron, but we stay green for the moment.
How are we still green, man?
Not entirely sure, to be honest. By the way, oh, here we go. Oh, Mark Kalin saves again. Wow, these cars are made so loose. And we've still got over 5 minutes to halfway.
I'm going to do the counter jinx, okay, Ewan? We're going to get a yellow flag.
Yeah.
Counter jinx. I'm counter jinxing it.
At the moment, you don't need to give them much more luck, to be honest. They're doing an unbelievable job at saving some really loose race cars by the looks of this. By the way, we've seen Alex Hillman in the last few moments go 1 lap down. He hasn't pitted yet, but of course had that huge slide earlier on, and he's the only car currently 1 lap down. Chad Kibbe is many laps down. He is still getting repairs done to that car after hitting the wall out of turn 4.
Yeah, I wonder if Kibbe's actually gonna come out and do more runs. Like 15 laps, for you to get 15 laps back, it's gonna be really, really tough.
Yeah, but someone might go off in front of him and he might be able to gain their position. So he might come back again. Let's see. Yeah. Out on the start-finish line, Mark Kalin going round the outside of Pat Harvey here for 6th position. Kalin looking to keep that overlap, make sure Harvey gives him some room on the outside. He just about gets that. Now going for it into 3 and 4. Still in the top 5, rather unbelievably.
Yeah, what surprises me is how Kalen is still retaining the tires by that half slide as he moves up into 6th. Definitely going to challenge 5th on around the outside. Oh,
Yamas. Oh, Yamas enters in the middle. And so we could have a 3-wide moment here. No, Yamas cuts in front of Pat Harvey to make sure he doesn't. Kalen's so wide there. He's not quite alongside the 63 though. And he has to stay behind and now doesn't know where to go. He enters the corner pretty much directly behind Yamas. That will give him some real handling issues. And Pat Harvey back alongside him again.
Good battle, but dicey. You can't get around but just by your nails around this.
It is a tense watch, I've got to say. Yeah. Side by side between Kalen and Harvey again here. Harvey back to the inside. That's Stephen Kirby just watching on from behind them all, by the way. As now Harvey gets to the inside. Yamas goes up. Oh, he's loose now. He's loose. Oh, Kalen has to avoid him. Swipes left and saves it himself. Here goes Stephen Kirby on the outside.
And we're still green despite everything that is transpiring on this race. This is insane. I nearly saw a punt to pass of sorts from Kalen around 2 last lap. This time around, nearly a 3-wide that could have been detrimental for Kalen, Harvey, and Lamas. As we have a car on the inside portion is Hillman. Yeah.
Yep. Early pit stop from the 11. Might as well, I suppose, if you're a lap down. As Pat Harvey now is clear in 5th place. Look at how much faster. I reckon the other 3 are a lot faster than Yamas here, because look at Pat Harvey here. Yeah. Look how much faster he is. And now here goes Stephen Kirby on the outside line. Yamas stuck up on the inside. Luke Christian now follows Hillman in. All it took was one driver to come in. Now surely they'll all follow. Here goes Yamas. He's got to make it. He's got to slow down. Got to slow down a lot more than that. Oh, I don't know if he slowed that down or not because he went out of shot, but that looked like a very, very fast entry from the 63.
I think the entrance is easy if you know how to circumvent the weight of the car into the apron. You know, after that is just like smooth sailing. Don't overbrake the car. That's the only thing you can do. Other than that, I think Lamas might be safe right here.
Let's see. Luke Christian made a normal length pit stop, as did Alex Hillman. Now, Yamas does indeed stop for just 14.6, so that is normal, and he did get it slowed down in time. Maybe the entrance is a bit further down than I was initially thinking, but there you go. It's I always find it difficult transitioning off the banking on 1.5 miles, wherever it is, to get onto pit lane. So there you go. Maybe that's my personal nerves coming into it. Out of the 4th corner for Kirby and Kalen, who are still together here, probably a couple of laps to halfway.
Yeah, and they're still going in strong. What surprises me, I'm looking at the laps from everybody, like Barry 38, 31, 31.4, 31.5 from O'Brien, 31.6, and then it's a party of 31 7s and 8s alongside everybody in the mid pack. And Kirby decided to, you know, do the disappearing act and came back.
He did.
Oh, it's Las Vegas. You can do it for Harry Houdini.
Oh, there you go. Lap 57, by the way, this one. We're just beginning now. The biggest mover so far, Abner Acosta, who's moved forward 16 places. Wardo Walden, the latest to make a pit stop, as you've seen at the bottom end there. He's just about a lap down now and gets passed by the 63, as you would expect. Wonder where Yamas can get to with these new tyres. I'd imagine it'll be pretty quick. These guys have dropped off just over a second slower than their best lap times. That's across the board.
He's in nearly full second faster, 30.7999. Well, 30.8 is his first lap. Nearly a full second faster than nearly now, actually, the entirety of the field that hasn't pitted yet.
So he's been out for 3 laps. That might be 3 seconds. I mean, Only takes 8 or so seconds for him to be in the lead, or 8 or so laps, and that's 4 minutes difference. That's really nothing. As Stephen Kirby now makes his way in, I think following Pat Harvey is indeed. That's the first 2 from the real main contenders in the top 10, I suppose, other than Wardo Warden and Unai Yamas, to make their way into pit lane from running up towards the front. Pat Harvey is certainly the first from the top 5 to make a stop.
Yeah, because at this point, I think you're going to have to mark the other cars around in the field and try to, make sure that you are in a comfortable position with your tires. That's now Kirby's coming out of the pits. Oh, sorry, not Kirby. That's Denis. Yeah.
He's way down, I'm afraid. Down a couple of laps. So anyway, further at the top of your screen, Gabriel Perry leading in the number 18. He's now led the most laps of anybody who's made just one start here at Las Vegas. That's including active or non-active drivers. I would like to know how many laps he's led. So he's probably getting towards a half century here in just one race. And the thing about this season has been, it's been so clean and green so far. Not just talking about these last 3 races, but actually talking about them all. Even right back at the start of the season at Bristol, we got a good racing by Bristol standards, certainly. We're actually completing more laps generally in these races than we used to when we used to be running to distance.
I think this is as far as I recall, in this championship, only one race has finished under yellow, which was the Bristol race, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So that shows the commitment out of everybody, which is good, of course.
The next race with the latest caution was Kansas, 45 minutes from the end. We haven't had a late race caution to run to the flag since Bristol in the very first round of the season, and that's what this season has been like. It's been wonderful so far. Scotty Johnson into pit lane in the bottom of your screen there, making his 100th PRL Cup Series start here tonight. That's very impressive when you think about it, Jim. 100 Cup Series starts is getting on for about 10 seasons or so.
Yeah, something like that. Thinking about, like, you drive 40 races per season. Of course, per year, right?
I'm talking about, sorry, yeah. I'm not talking about years. I'm talking about, individual seasons, yeah.
Yeah, but in season you drive up to 10, which is quite something. If you add up, like, you drive 40, like, every 4 seasons that you do here at PRL, you do, like, in 2-3 years, but you might take the breaks. It's quite an achievement. I'm not gonna lie about that.
It absolutely is. This is through 1 and 2 for James O'Brien and Abner Acosta. Yeah, great achievement. And nearly 50% of the 203 Cup Series races we've ever had here in the PRL. Kansas was our 200th ever Cup Series race as Abner Acosta makes his way in. These guys are going quite a lot further than the as he locks up on the way in, following Gabriel Perry, the overall leader. So I was about to say these guys are going quite a long way past halfway, but actually that's come to an end now. Unai Yamas, by the way, has been out now for 10 laps, will have been out for 10 laps. Gabriel Perry is in legitimate danger of losing his lead.
Yeah, but Lama's already setting 31.4. I wonder if this is actual pace with 10 laps of tires, though, as we still are to see Kalen and O'Brien and Medina to do their pit stops. Now here comes the actual question, how the second stint will be for O'Brien, Perry and Acosta respectively with this new rubber that they're going to get.
So Yamas is on the bottom of your screen there. That's Abner Acosta, who is going to be close to here for what will become about the 3rd place. But with James O'Brien falling back, you'd imagine it will be a legitimate 3rd place here for Unai Yamas as he goes through on Mark Kalin and Abner Acosta. 3 wide moment on the backstretch. It will be 3rd place for the 63, maybe 2nd place for the 63 after this pit stop phase.
However, here's the thing. You make that overtake, your tires are heated up, you got laps, you made that overtake, you have more laps with that tire, you're going to become the victim eventually for those with newer rubber.
Here we go, James O'Brien making his way back out. He doesn't know how far to come across. He saves out the way of his teammate, and that's a good job he did, because it was a 3 wide moment. This will be the battle for 2nd place then, and Abner Acosta takes it back in the number 5. What a great race he is having, now legitimately ahead of James O'Brien.
But we normally expect to see O'Brien kind of like have a really good performance as he's head on. Meanwhile, Harvey, what a early second stint that he's having so far, being behind O'Brien and very close to him.
Gabriel Perry then leads by 3.5 seconds. It's Abner Acosta in second place. At Evuna Yamas, then it's James O'Brien, Pat Harvey and Patrick Cowgill all in this group. You're right, Harvey I think is the newcomer into this really, along with Yamas as well. So we've got a couple of new names here at the front of the race. Just in behind them, by the way, is the first driver 1 lap down, Robert Bissell Jr., currently holding the free pass place as James O'Brien makes that pass for third.
And expect now the 63 maybe to drop a few more positions with Cowgill and Harvey having better tires than the number 63.
Harvey and Yama side by side. You get the feeling this early stop from the 63 is maybe not the right call. I mean, it gains you places initially, but look at where he's falling back through now.
But he had to risk something. I think with the attrition level that you had on the race, maybe you went for a early pit stop. You would probably count with the other guy spitting and then conquer the positions back where you kind of like equalize your tire level with the other ones. It might be a suggestion, I think, or it's a logic for me, but that's what I think that Lomas wanted to do.
Yeah, you might be right on that front. Costa and O'Brien now absolutely locked together. Are they helping one another, bump drafting, or are they battling? It looks like they are just helping one another. Try and get close to Gabriel Perry. Can they catch the number 18 if they work together here in the final 22 minutes?
Ooh, good question. The gap is actually closer. It was about 4 seconds when Perry pitted and Acosta and O'Brien were doing trying to do the push. The only thing is invert those positions. O'Brien was doing the push and Acosta was following. So now apparently the roles are inverting. The Acosta now is giving chase and is actually giving good chase to Gabriel Perry.
Of course, all three of them are big championship contenders here. As I mentioned earlier on, with drop week applied, Perry just 3 points behind O'Brien at the top of the standings and Acosta 13 points behind. Put him 4th if we apply drop weeks now. Jean-Michel Gagnon down 11th means that Acosta will jump ahead of him and possibly up to 3rd if things stay as they are. It would be, I think Perry and O'Brien pretty much tied on points with Acosta a little bit further back in 3rd if the race were to end right now, but it won't end right now. And it's good news for the private label team Hype drivers because they're working together and they are slowly bringing it back. Last time round, Gabriel Perry did a 30.9, 30.8 from this second group behind.
Marginal gains. Those marginal gains make a difference in your run, man. So everything that they are conquering right now, they're battling for it. It's well earned, it's hard earned, but you need those victories, those lap by lap victories for you to get closer and maybe contend for the race lead. But then again, if you give chase, you're using more of your tire rubber because you really want to try to push as much as you can and try to stress the car as much. There's a drawback. Of course, you're doing that with clean air right now, but what might be the drawback of using tires too much? Eventually, that second half of your stint might not be so good as Cowgill trying to get a little bit more aggressive towards O'Brien right now.
And of course, you get the feeling as well, with how loose everyone got towards the end of that first run there, you get the feeling that there might well be a caution towards the end of this race here. And we could well see one of those late pit stops for everybody. I don't think if there's a caution, anybody will take or pass up the opportunity to go into the pit lane and take some new tyres. So it could come down to a run to the flag as well. And as I say, with how loose everyone was getting in the first run, you get the feeling that we'll be lucky to get through this race without seeing a yellow flag.
Yeah, and not only that, in my opinion, I think comes down to, if let's just say you got a late yellow flag, right? And we still got like some race left when we go green after it. Who goes for the risky strategy of maybe putting just 2 tires on the right hand side to try to, you're not going to waste a lot in the left. The rights are going to matter more. So who's going to do that risky strategy and maybe go for the win?
Just see the wheel work there from Patrick Helgren as well. It looks calm until they're going really loose, actually, off board. But as soon as you go on board, you start to realise that actually there's always that little bit of correction happening, especially off of 4. That's not particularly correction because of it getting loose through 2, but just watch his wheel in the bottom right-hand side of your screen there through turn 4 here. They are really putting the work in here, and this is with nearly 20 minutes to go.
Yeah. But you can see he's trying to fade away or slip away of the grasp of both O'Brien and Acosta. He's losing pace in terms of off the number 33 and the number 5. So I don't know if it could be the steering of the tire of the wheel. Normally when we say steer the wheel is those tiny left to right maneuvers, right? It doesn't look much, but sometimes I've been told by through coaching that this can actually just overstress the wheel of the car and throw more heat into it. It does. If we do that a lot, especially on these bankings, maybe he's losing grip on a long-term basis.
The bottom of your screen is Patrick Helgren trying to stay with Acosta and O'Brien. And at the top are the 2 he's chasing. It's worth noting that after initially bringing that gap down a little bit, Gabriel Perry has brought that lead now out to back to 3.5 seconds. So it's pretty much the same as it was when they pitted, as Scotty Johnson moves up here. Well, I say moving up, he's in a battle anyway with Jean-Michel Gagnon. Slides up in front of him off of 4.
And Gagnon looks like he has the better run on the outside, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make the overtake thick outside of 2.
Johnson's on the oldest tyres of these 2 and Mark Kalin as well, as further up side by side as Stephen Kirby gets past Dunning Yamas.
Yeah, and Yama's suffering is just gonna continue on and on and on. As you can see, Walden and Johnson actually right behind him as they still go side by side.
And that's Walden with a lap car. That's not Johnson. Johnson is getting overtaken by Jean-Michel Gagnon. And there that was on the top of your screen. Oh, Gagnon slides, but he holds on to 9th. Here goes Kalin. He's got the newest tyres of all of these 3, and he's in the wall. Oh, that wasn't good, I'm afraid, for the 62. Just running slightly wide and scraping along the wall. Hopefully that hasn't done too much damage.
There's Scrapey, so he'll survive.
It should do, as he closes in on Scotty Johnson here in towards 3 and 4. You should imagine he will make up some places in this final 15 minutes here, Mark Kalin. Not least because he does look after his tyres rather well, but actually he put these tyres on quite a long time after everybody else. He and Jose Medina were the final 2 to come in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't like here on the outside. It's going to be quite complicated for you to do that run. He's going to do a little bit of bump, but once he goes into 3, if he just works it out at just the right time, he's going to make that overtake. There
we go. This is a better run. Outside line, over the line. Wouldn't have quite got the top 10 by the line, but he's got it now. Although he goes up high and there's a lap car involved there. Will that get involved? Looks like Ken will be clear anyway. So through he goes into the top 10. And Scotty Johnson's 100th Cup appearance looks like it may be without a top, which would be a real shame for him. He's not managed 50 of them. He's not managed a 50% top 10 rate. This is the only series he's ever driven in, by the way, as we see a pit stop here for Colton Easterday. Now, what is this all about?
That car doesn't look straight to me, man.
No, it doesn't. We'll have a look at what happened there in a few moments' time. You're right, that does not look good. The front and right wheel actually looks like it's been broken entirely there. So Yeah, this could be a long stop for Coltonista today as well. Chad Kirby, by the way, still getting repairs done, and after half an hour, he won't be gaining any more positions in this race as Gagnon now gets to the outside of the 63 and gets through into 8th position, followed maybe in the next few moments by Mark Kalin.
And I thought Mark Kalin was going to come like a rocket on the outside of Lamas right there, but I think he had to check up and it maybe goes 2 for 1 right here.
Well, he has a look at Gagnon. Oops, slide from the 63. He's going to have a real handful in these final 14 minutes, isn't he, Yamas?
Yeah, I think Yamas needs a yellow flag. He demands a yellow flag.
He might cause one if he's not careful.
Yep.
This is Coltonese today. Speaking of nearly causing cautions, wow, we got close there as well, but that's the hardest hit on the front right we've seen all day, and that's why the front right suspension is broken.
Harder than Kibby, I would say.
Yep, I would say so. Gets smartly down to the apron, and fair play to him for keeping us green here at Las Vegas. That's 2 drivers out the race now. You'd imagine they'll be finishing 18th and 19th respectively in this race. There goes Mark Kalin down the inside of Gagnon. As lap traffic gets involved here as well. Don't forget Rob Beesor Jr., excuse me, that is Waldo Walden. Apologies. Rob Beesor Jr., Stacey Hunter and Alex Hillman are all still 1 lap down, slightly throwing me off there. Walden's struggling a lot more than I thought. He is now under pressure from Jean-Michel Gagnon.
Yeah, he's going to lose the position thing right after the corner entry. Yep.
He's going way slower than I thought he'd be.
Yeah. I don't know if he scraped the wall or something like that, but... Oh, he's actually gone the longest than everybody else. I think only Lamas...
Oh, yeah.
On the same lead lap has gone just as long, and Luke Christian actually gone longer than everybody else. FYI, lead gap coming down by 1 second the past 10 laps.
Yeah, that has been notable in these last few moments. It's Abner Acosta who's doing the heavy lifting. 1/10 of a second. Don't know whether that's Perry just holding back for a final push in the last 10 minutes, or has he gone out too hard in the first 15 here? And difficult to tell, but this will be nervy now for Gabriel Perry. Hasn't got anywhere near the experience of the likes of James O'Brien and Abner Acosta, who are chasing him down. And, well, he has got more wins than everybody else this season. Perry will be under pressure here, and he'll be feeling it as well.
Yeah, and you still have about 10, 12 minutes left of racing. Give or take, we still have about 24 laps here in the virtual 1.5 mile track in Nevada. So there's still a lot of things that can happen in this race, though. Just a quick question: who scraped the wall out of number 2 right there? Was that Walden that scraped the wall?
No, I didn't see anybody in the wall. Okay.
I think Walden kind of like slightly grinded the wall, the outside wall, the safe barrier outside of number 2.
Okay. Well, that's what happens, I suppose, on old tyres. I didn't quite realise how early he'd pitted, or appreciate even how early he'd pitted. But you're right, only Yamas has been out longer of those on the lead lap, and he was only 2 laps longer, Yamas. So Walden's almost in the same boat, and Scotty Johnson is back into the top 10. Meanwhile, as a result of these old tyre runners, Luke Christian is about to be off the lead lap because he's on such old tyres at the moment. Gabriel Perry going through some lap cars at the moment. Alex Hillman being put a 2nd lap down. Coltonese today is now 9 down, still in the race though. As we enter it towards the final 10 minutes, Mark Kalin's in the wall. Huge slide off of 2. He scrapes along the right-hand side, and we say green again.
And he's losing again.
He's sliding. Is this the moment? No, he saves it. Oh, goodness me. Another good save.
This is getting too dangerous now.
Well, I think we're getting quite close to the point where if caution would end the race. And look at this. Kalin again slides. Has a look over to his mirror just to make sure he can pull up to the right-hand side, and he can. The 63 is right behind him.
Let's let him by, lets him by, but it's not going to be able to get the run.
He can't do anything.
You're risking it.
His tyres will be screaming now. He'll have to go so slow. Jose Medina's surely going to overtake him here as well.
Oh, you can
Can't
see
get on the power.
car has no grip.
Yeah, no grip. Absolutely none. From entrance right the way to exit, Mark Cailin is struggling here. And there again, off of 4, another save. And again, he drops the position, but he doesn't drop the car. And you might be wondering whether a pit stop might be worth it at this point, to be honest, because he can't enter the corners at any sort of speed.
Yeah, but I think if he goes in, he knows that his race is going to be over. So it's like you're banking on the fact that someone else might get a yellow and you're going to get that time back. But right now, you're just playing with fire.
And there he goes into pit lane, probably the smart thing to do. Important battle, by the way, for 13th and the free pass going on right now with all these drivers getting very loose. Luke Christian versus Robert Bishaw Jr. It's just gone the way of the number 3, who's actually, by the way, 3rd place in points, despite the fact he has... Robert Bishaw Jr. has generally quite quiet days, but quite good days as well. 6th place at Kansas and Bristol. And in the top 10 in all the rounds so far this season, including the Rover last week, where he was in 10th place. So he has had a very good season so far, a very consistent season. This will be his first finish outside of the top 10, though, by the looks of things. At least he's in the free pass position, though, just in case there is a caution. And we're getting towards the end of this race now, and the end of the point at which a caution can actually have effect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be quite interesting. Let's just say Bishaw gets a lap back. He's a hard charger. I think he gets the opportunity. He does a hard charge. The problem is I don't think he's going to be able to do the hard charge that he wants, being from 12th place all the way up to the top.
Over 3.5 hours of green flag racing now in the PRL Cup Series, by the way. An extraordinary run. A run that we barely get able to start again at the end of today. We've only got 4 hours of racing left in this championship. Homestead, Martinsville, Phoenix and Atlanta. You wouldn't have thought that run of 4 would be caution free, but anyway, you wouldn't have thought this 4 would have been either. Side by side between Scotty Johnson and Waldo Warden. That's the 07 into 8th place now.
And you know what's impressive about all this? I know Medina might actually get the place from Lamas right there, as Lamas has 46 lap on this tire. Lamas so far is still retaining a top 10. Started 3rd, dropped 7 spots, still in 10th, clinging for his life to stay within that 10th place. But doing a really solid job so far, remaining in the track.
Very good job so far as we approach 6.5 minutes remaining in this race. 1.4 seconds, the gap at the head of the race. Adner Acosta took 300ths out of Gabriel Perry that last time around. Has Acosta left enough back? Has he shredded through his tyres a bit too early here to try and catch the number 18? Was that gap just too much to try and close down? Or is there time remaining for a surprise here late in this race as we go through? 12 to go now.
I wonder if Bishaw might be the factor of why Acosta can actually get closer. You know, that fear of having the aero push or overexerting your tires on dirty air, that might be the effect. Of course, Perry has, I think that looks to be either Stacy Hunter or Luke Christian. Right in front of him, that's Hunter. So yeah, having Hunter right in front of him kind of like equalizes the situation. That's why the gap hasn't hugely come up and down in the field so far.
Hunter put another lap down. And will be lapped by Robert Bishaw Jr. now as well. With just over 5 minutes to go, Bishaw Jr. is not going to get the free pass because there's not going to be a caution that will see another green flag, I'm afraid, in this one. Meanwhile, by the way, something we've not quite commented on, but worth mentioning, Mark Cailin is now back out on the circuit. He's 7 down overall after 3 minutes in pit lane, repairing that damage and of course getting some new tyres, so expect some fast laps from him, maybe the fast lap of the day. In fact, he did just set the fastest lap of the race 6 thousandths behind Patrick Calgo, who set that earlier on when he was going a bit too fast at the start of this race, in all honesty, but he got the fastest lap, so who cares. 1.2 seconds now between Gabriel Perry and Abner Acosta. The 3 is a bit of an annoyance, a hindrance to Abner Acosta at the moment, but he's not quite close enough for him to reasonably expect the 3 to get out of the way. And of course, there's not many laps remaining for him to get in behind Perry here and try and start overtaking him.
Yeah, you got about 10 laps to go, so you would have to gun it every single lap, conquer down. I would guess about like 1/9 of the lap. Like you would have to go down 0.15 on your lap every single lap that you go on. And even then, you might have to have a little bit of a lap cushion for you to do the overtakes. And I don't think Acosta has that good effort, but I think this is Perry's race to lose. Well, it was Perry's race to lose ever since he got pole position of sorts.
Yeah, exactly, yep. He might well be in the championship lead as well after this. Of course, had a real trouble at Kansas earlier on in the season. And that meant that he's sort of had a bad race hanging over him all season long, but 2 victories, 2 races, by the way, with the full 50 points accredited to him. 2 fantastic races. However, Talladega and Kansas didn't quite go his way, but if he can take a 3rd race win in just 5 races to start off this season, that would be a fantastic start.
Absolutely. It would basically put a stamp on saying, I'm here and I'm here to stay on the entire competition and keep them afloat and keep them awake, and maybe have to try different things on those fixed NASCAR Cup setups to, you know, get an edge on the number 18, because he's flying so far in this season, man.
5 to go when they get to the line here for Gabriel Perry. Just 2.5 minutes to go. It's about hanging on from here. And just noticed him getting a little bit loose on the bottom of your screen there. On board with Abner Acosta, 1.5 seconds. I think you're right. I mean, gaining 3 tenths a lap to be there for the final lap, I mean, that's going to be very difficult indeed. As Pat Harvey gets past Patrick Calgo for 4th place, side by side between them. Harvey's done a decent job of defending his race win last time we were here at Vegas, and he's certainly going to take his best result of the season. That previously came at Kansas, an 8th position. Whether he comes out on top here or not, it will be his best performance of the season so far. But can he see off Calgo here as Mark Kaelin gets through on the both of them on the inside on those new tyres?
Yeah. And Calgo's still trying, though. I give him merits, man. He's trying, even though his tires are newer, which is funny. Harvey's tires are 2 laps older than the number 31, so he's doing an immense job. Of course, 2 laps, you might say, oh, shoot, it's nothing, but 2 laps actually makes a difference on a run like this.
It does at this end of the run, that's for sure. When you're starting to feel a little bit ragged, a little bit tired. It'd be 3 to go as they go through right now. Jose Medina gets a top 10 here right at the very end. He was the final driver to pit from the round of stops we saw earlier on, getting ahead of one of the first drivers to pit, Unai Llamas. His gamble, as he said at the time, was worth taking, but it's not paid off.
No, not so far, and I think if you're Llamas, you might have to start wondering, how can you conquer your places in the championship back, because the competition is being very regular, and for what it looks like for you to place within the top 5, as the car is very loose, you have to be regular.
Over the line, they will have 2 laps to go here. Gabriel Perry is about to come through and see the white flag just in behind these 2. These 2, of course, the final drivers on the lead lap. What a debut season Gabriel Perry is having. Already a race winner in just his 2nd appearance. Now he's going to win his 3rd in just 5 rounds. At 1.5 miles, he can do it. He showed that at Kansas before. Last week he showed us he can do it on road courses as well. This time it's back to 1.5 miles, and he's shown he is in form right now. Gabriel Perry winner again in the PRL Cup Series for the third time this season. He'll take the championship lead to Homestead. With 4 rounds to go, he is making a splash in this series. Three hours and 45 minutes of racing. Green racing here in the Cup Series. No cautions. And Gabriel Perry has been able to win 3 of those races in that long run. An unbelievable start to the season from him, and he will be the points leader going into next week's round.
There's a new sheriff in the building right now. A new dog. So it's gonna be interesting how this championship will play out moving forward.
It absolutely will. What a fantastic drive from Gabriel Perry, who wins here at Las Vegas. The first driver to win on their first attempt at Las Vegas since 2020, pre-COVID, would you believe? Anyway, Abner Acosta was 2.1 seconds behind with James O'Brien third. Pat Harvey defended his race winner from last time earlier on this year with a 4th place finish, just beating Patrick Cowgill at the end. Stephen Kirby finished 6th, headed Jean-Michel Gagnon, who will be in the top 5 in the points with that. Scotty Johnson rounds out his 100th Cup Series race with 8th, as Waldo Warden and Unai Yamas, the risk takers, let's say, finished 8th, 9th and 10th. Jose Medina didn't quite get that top 10 in the end. Robert Beator Jr., Lou Christian and Matthew Denis were 1 lap down. Stacey Hunter and Alex Hillman were 2 down. Mark Cannon made that late stop and finished 7 down. Colton Easterday, I should say, hit the wall hard on the front right, finished 31 down. Chad Kibbe hit the wall out of 4 as well, finishing 81 down. Jeff Chandler never raced, unfortunately for him. And let's bring in Gabriel Perry, who wins again in the PRL Cup Series tonight. Welcome in, Gabriel. Good to have you with us. How does it feel to have won now for a 3rd time in just 4 weeks? You're really in form. Was this an expected good track for yourself, or are you surprised you've managed to take the victory here?
Well, I'm more comfortable at 1.5 miles than any other track. Pretty loose setup. I think I excel when the car is a little loose, and tire management. I'm not surprised, but unfortunately, Abner had to start in the back because of that penalty. So if he had started more up front, I think he would have had a better chance of maybe getting past me. But it is what it is.
Absolutely. You mentioned that 1.5 miles are going to be your strong suit. Well, there's only 1 more to go, but it is next week. How are you feeling about going to Homestead in 7 days' time?
Actually, I've never raced a Homestead. I don't even have the track purchased. So
wow.
We'll actually have to get some laps in the old sim for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing you there. Congratulations on the win tonight, and thanks for coming to chat to us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks very much. Gabriel Perry there, the winner tonight here at Vegas, ahead of Abner Acosta, who finished in 2nd. Abner, Gabriel there saying that if you just started towards the front where he started and not at the back as a result of a penalty, you might have had a better chance at winning that race. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think I could have had a better chance, but I mean, it all depends. I mean, I feel like maybe on that last run, even though I did catch him, he was probably saving a little more. So it's hard to tell, but definitely a better chance for sure.
I mean, it wasn't a tense final run to watch at times. Was there ever a moment where you really believed you would catch him in those final 30 minutes?
He started losing a lot of time, like maybe with like 15 laps ago, and I thought I could, but then my car started getting really loose in 3 and 4, and once that started happening, I just knew that there's no way. I don't know. I tried to run it high in 3 and 4, but yeah, 3 and 4 killed me. But as soon as I started feeling loose there, I knew that I wasn't going to catch him.
Well, it's the you won't be surprised to learn the most positions gained by anyone for yourself here today. 17 up to 2nd place. So congratulations on that and another top 3 finish. We look forward to seeing you again in a week's time, hopefully. And thanks for coming to chat to us tonight.
Yeah, it was really fun. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks very much. Abner Acosta there, that 2nd place here tonight, ahead of James O'Brien, who finished in 3rd. James, another top 3 for yourself. A remarkably consistent start to the season for yourself. Again, 6 seconds off the win this time around. How pleased or not are you with that run?
I'd like to have had more. I just can't figure out what I'm missing on long run pace. The car wasn't as loose as everybody else seemed to be struggling with. I just wasn't fast, so a little disappointed there, but I'll take another third. Drop week this week won't mean much to me because I think I've been top 3 every week. I'm not sure. So the points lead is going to shrink considerably, I think, for me because the drop week is going to be enacted after this race. So a little disappointed in that as well, but it is what it is. You just got to keep racing.
Yeah, I think you might be still tied leader or maybe a point or so behind, but it really won't be very much at all between yourself and Gabriel Perry now. I mean, does this round give you a little bit of concern about your pace for Homestead, or is it more complex than the fact they're just both mile and a half?
It might be a little bit more complex. Abner was catching him pretty quick at the end. We were trying different things over the radio and seeing what worked and what didn't, because the last time we raced at a cookie cutter, he was quite far ahead, and there was no catching him. But this time it seemed that it proved he is mortal, as Abner said over the radio. So we just ran out of time, I think, and out of ideas. But there are some things that we can work on. I wish I had more time to practice, but yeah, I love these tracks. I may not win here, but I really enjoy the 1.5 miles because they're some of my favorites to race and even qualify on.
Well, hopefully you'll be here next week to enjoy Homestead as well. Congratulations on another top 3, James, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Thank you. I'll see you next week, hopefully.
Thanks very much. James O'Brien there, third place here tonight. He's finished second mostly this season. That's what I was thinking about. Anyway, Patrick Cowgill also is in the waiting room for us at the moment, so we'll bring him in as well. Why not? With a top 5 finish. Welcome in, Patrick, as well. Good to have you with us after a top 5 finish here tonight. How was the run at Vegas for you tonight, and how was the last battle as well between yourself and Pat?
Extremely loose. I didn't think Pat had saved as much as he did, and that last 10 laps or so, he caught up to me pretty quick, and I just let him go thinking maybe I could get him in the last 2 laps, but it was just way too loose to hold on to it.
I mean, you say that, and that's what we saw a lot of throughout the race, but James has just been in here and saying that, it was actually, he didn't seem to get as loose as everybody else for whatever reason, but he just wasn't as quick as he maybe would have liked to have been. Was there anything you could have done, with hindsight now, to stop the car being so loose? Because you certainly weren't the only one.
I think it was just my entry and exit angles were off a little bit, enough to get me that little bit of looseness that I didn't want, but I don't know that I could have done a whole lot more.
As I say, you certainly weren't the only one, that's for sure. Congratulations on the top 5 here tonight, Patrick, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks very much, Patrick Cowgill there, the 5th place driver here tonight. Well, Lorenzo, it was a fun evening here at Vegas. Another race, clean and green the whole way through in the PRL Cup Series. We're going to Homestead in 1 week's time. Used to be the finale in the NASCAR Cup Series, both in the real world and sometimes here in the PRL as well. Not this time round, though. We will be going there with 4 races still to go, and Gabriel Perry in really hot form.
It's going to be quite interesting. I love the fact that we're still doing green flag runs for more than 3 hours in this championship. Homestead drives differently than Las Vegas does. Still somewhat packy at the very start. Somewhat of a tire fuel race. This is going to be mixed. Going to be interested to see how the strategies will play out. But now with the championship mix, with the points between O'Brien and Perry right now, and maybe Acosta coming into the fray as well, I'm very interested to see how the top 3 will develop their racing strategies moving forward for next week.
At 9 p.m. Eastern Time, as always, for racing from Homestead Miami Speedway. But tonight, it's Gabriel Perry's night. His 3rd victory in just 4 rounds. He is in very hot form indeed. Join us again in 1 week's time to see if he can do it again. For now, though, we will bid farewell. Myself, Ian Leary, Lorenzo Bonda and Hugo Louise alongside me. It's goodbye from Vegas, and we'll see you in 1 week's time in Homestead Miami Speedway.